Coming up on Evening Report, Donald Trump barnstorms in North Dakota, hitting on old and new themes. His detractors played North Dakota nice during a peaceful protest of his appearance. And oh yes, there was a petroleum conference going on as well.
We need a leader, not a lying cheater. We need a leader, not a lying cheater.
Good evening. Donald Trump was in Bismarck for less than 3 hours, and it didn't take long for him to make an impression on his supporters and his detractors.
He touched on already familiar themes, but he also focused on energy. And Anthony Humes joins us from the Bismarck Airport with more on Trump's visit to the capital city. Anthony?
Thanks, Alan and Monica. Trump landed here shortly after 12:30 this afternoon. He wasn't met by any protesters, rather just a number of people trying to get a glimpse of the Republican nominee. And as his flight came in, it looked like a pretty smooth landing for the Boeing 757 aircraft. Now, this is a much larger aircraft than you can expect to see come through the Bismarck Airport. So much so, they didn't even have a staircase tall enough for the plane, so they had to raise the jet bridge. Once Trump made it off the plane, he got into a motorcade along with his Secret Service and staffers to head to the Williston Basin Petroleum Conference. Once that was over, he came straight back to the airport and was in the air shortly after 3:30 p.m. Now he's heading on to Billings, Montana for a conference tonight before heading to San Diego and Fresno, California. Alan, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Anthony. Now, politically, the most important part of Donald Trump's day wasn't his speech, nor was it his press conference beforehand. Political reporter Max Grossfeld is here to tell us what it is and why it matters to you. Max?
Alan, 1237 is the magic number of delegates needed to clinch the Republican nomination for president. Donald Trump is now at that number thanks to North Dakota. As Donald Trump energized a crowd of 7,000 at the Bismarck Event Center, he did so with the knowledge that he is now the Republican nominee for president.
I'm so honored. I'm so honored to be in North Dakota and having hit that. I'm so honored by these people. They had such great sense.
Trump got to North Dakota.
Been there right from the beginning, right?
In part because of Representative Kevin Cramer.
You've changed my life. I guess if you're one of the first 7 or 8 members of Congress to endorse somebody, your life gets changed. Mine's been changed.
Many who came out to hear Trump speak are hoping he changes their lives as well.
I don't get political. It's just I do my thing. And now I'm political because I'm tired. I'm tired. And everybody that's here is tired.
He wants less regulation, he wants lower taxes, he wants to create jobs. That's exactly what the Republican Party stands for, and that's exactly what he said today. And also, he's very concerned about the energy situation in our state, and I applaud his efforts for that.
These North Dakotans love Trump. Now we'll see if the rest of the country does as well come November. The delegate who pushed the Trump over the magic number was John Trandom, a Fargo business owner and Republican activist. He held out until the count was at 12:36 to make sure he was the one to do it. Monica?
All right, thanks a lot, Max. Bismarck police had been preparing for Trump's visit for weeks, and they say things went smoothly. With some 7,800 people in one place in a politically charged atmosphere, most people were well behaved. We're told that there were no arrests, but the event center staff removed 3 people for not following directions on where to sit. Sarah Berlinger's outside the event center tonight, where officers lined the streets to make sure everyone had a safe experience. Sarah?
Monica, several hours ago, behind me was a very different picture with Trump protesters, supporters, and officers around the event center area. But besides some minor incidents and traffic jams, things went as planned. Bismarck Police and Highway Patrol were on hand, among other agencies. Officers stood by protesters as well as guided guests to one entrance to the building. Those attending Trump's remarks were screened for weapons and other prohibited items. Bismarck police say the event went smoothly besides some minor issues.
I guess the minimal problems have been more people trying to antagonize the other side with some somewhat borderline inflammatory phrases and words.
Police warned visitors that traffic could take some time when leaving the venue, but now it appears as though things are back to normal downtown. Alan?
Well, a few hours ago, Trump supporters outnumbered protesters 100 to 1 at the Bismarck Event Center. Everyone is gone now and no one got hurt. Megan Hahn joins us with more on the peaceful demonstration that took place this afternoon. Megan?
Stand by. Thanks, Alan. A strong police presence combined with good old-fashioned North Dakota nice meant that we didn't see the same kind of violence that we've seen the past 2 days at Trump rallies in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Anaheim, California.
We need a leader, not a lying cheater.
Trump protesters were vocal but not violent.
We have done everything possible to make this protest peaceful.
Trump supporters were also focused on avoiding disorder.
The protesters in other states that were throwing burning T-shirts at police officers, that's not going to happen here.
Keeping the two sides separated was key to keeping the peace.
I'm not taking any sides. I'm asking for the cooperation.
Yep, you've got my 100% cooperation.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
The numbers of this demonstration definitely favored Trump. About 50 protesters held their ground against thousands of people who were lined to see and hear the man who's created so much mayhem.
I felt outnumbered my whole life because I've always felt like I don't agree with a lot of the Republican policies, so it's nothing I'm not used to.
I wasn't going to let him come here and rile up all this hatred without me being here, waving my American flag, because I know what America stands for, and it doesn't stand for racism.
Trump's treatment of women and his policies on the environment and immigration were the main issues these protesters have with Trump's campaign. None of these concerns were solved, but Thursday's peaceful gathering is a step in the right direction. This demonstration ended up being so peaceful that a Trump supporter and a protester actually shook hands, and they shook hands with other activists who were out here. Monica, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Megan. Now, Trump made energy the main focus of his speech, a topic which is, of course, quite familiar to North Dakotans. Energy reporter Alyssa Dicker joins us from this event center with the highlights. Alyssa?
Monica, the theme of the conference was Bakken Forward, and during Trump's address, he painted a picture of what the oil industry would look like under his presidency.
Under my presidency, we'll accomplish a complete American energy independence. Complete.
More than 7,000 people packed the event center, and many were pleased with what Trump had to say.
Use our own energy and stop using the enemy's energy and stop making deals with them. We don't need them. I like what he said.
He's so right on just about everything he talked about. It's just makes you tingle up and down your spine that you'll have somebody of that nature that could be the president of the United States of America.
One of the state's oil regulators says his speech illustrated how his presidency would benefit North Dakota's energy industry.
I took his reference to saying keeping energy within America as let's add value to our energy, let's utilize it and add wealth to it in this country, and let's support making our own energy.
In the first 100 days of presidency, Trump says he will eliminate federal overreach.
America's incredible energy potential remains untapped. It's totally self-inflicted. It's a wound, and it's a wound that we have to heal.
Trump says under the Obama administration, rigs fell to the lowest number statewide since the 90s. There's $50 trillion worth of untapped oil in the United States. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Alyssa.
Now to Kevin. A lot of people lined up outside. Unfortunately, no one got rained on.
Yeah, you know what? The skies were quite nice, right? When Trump's plane was taking off, though, a couple of sprinkles, but that was it. But much heavier storms toward Dickinson and western North Dakota. But we don't have to worry about any red boxes. That would be tornado watch boxes here, and underneath those watches we've got several tornado warnings in Kansas again and Missouri here for the evening hours. Big outbreak of severe weather there. For us, atmospheric dynamics are a little bit different, but still certainly unstable enough to give some afternoon and evening thunderstorms. In fact, in the Minot area here, a band of showers and storms getting ready here to move into the Magic City from the south and southwest. This could produce well over an inch of rain, some pea-sized hail as well. There are no warnings right now in Ward County, but that's where most of the action is here for the time being. There are some scattered lighter showers near the Montana border, and where it has rained, it has cooled off. 56 degrees in Baker, 66 in Williston, 63 in Bismarck or Garrison. It was in the 50s a short while ago with the rain showers. We're at 71, but dry weather in Bismarck, 76. In Mobridge, 64 again in Minot with rain showers approaching. So with our evening weather outlook and calling for that scattered shower and thunderstorm potential to continue here for the next couple of hours, we'll do it all over again for tomorrow. Atmospheric profile is such that it's quite cold aloft, several thousand feet off the ground. So this steep lapse rate is producing this instability with the heating of the sun, heats up the earth, clouds billow up. We've got some moisture in place, and afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms are the result. And given the freezing level in the atmosphere, the chance for some hail with these storms also prevalent. All right, temperatures in the morning here will be cool in the 40s and low 50s for our Friday morning at 7 o'clock. Noontime snapshot here still in the 60s, and then we'll gradually work through the 70s here into the afternoon. Again, pop-up showers can be expected. There's always that potential for severe weather given this dynamic, but it doesn't look like a lot of that can be expected here for a while to come. Yesterday, that was a bit different here where we did have some severe weather. All right, for the day Saturday here to kick things off for the 3-day holiday weekend, temperatures in the 70s, chance for scattered thunderstorms greater than the potential on Sunday. Only isolated chances for rain on Sunday as we warm up into the upper 70s and the low 80s. Meanwhile, what about Memorial Day Monday? Mid to upper 70s can be expected. Again, scattered thunderstorms come back into the forecast for most of next week as well. Again, the environment we're in now kind of plays out over and over again for the foreseeable future. So there is your week ahead.
That's a lot of 7s.
It really is, which is the best part.
Yeah.
That's a good temperature range.
Exactly.
That's the not too hot, not too cold range.
Just in the middle. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, well, coming up, it's time for tourism. And Dickinson has a few tricks up its sleeve. A Ward County prosecutor accused of driving under the influence and crashing into a parked car has pleaded guilty. Deputy State's Attorney Kelly Dillon will avoid jail time for the March 19th crash. A breathalyzer test indicated Dillon's blood alcohol level was almost twice the legal limit. She will have to perform 22 hours of community service and submit to a chemical dependency exam. A South Dakota man accused of sexually abusing 2 girls on the Minot Air Force Base has pleaded not guilty. 39-year-old Thad Richard faces 3 counts of gross sexual imposition. Richard left the Air Force in 2013 but remained on base as a civilian. He faces the possibility of life in prison. He's being held in the Ward County Jail on $750,000 bond. He'll be back in court in August.
Memorial Day weekend kicks off tourist season for the Dickinson Convention and Visitors Bureau. Starting next week, the CVB will be open 7 days a week until Halloween. The director is expecting visitors from Midwestern states such as Wisconsin and Michigan who want to experience something different. She says there's also plenty for Dickinson residents to do this summer.
We're going to have the annual Rough Rider Days Fair and Expo, and that's an annual celebration that goes on celebrating the 4th of July. So there'll be a lot of things going on for that. It's approximately 10-day celebration. And then we've also got on Thursday nights downtown is First on First concerts, and they've got a lot of different concerts lined up.
The Dickinson CVB will start the summer season with the Dickinson High School Rodeo on Monday. Some schools on the Standing Rock Reservation are going to have some pretty high-profile celebrity arts backers next fall. The President's Committee on the Arts and Humanities has selected the 4 schools for inclusion in the Turnaround Arts program. It incorporates the theory that exposure to arts and music education can help improve children's math and reading skills. Actress Jane Fonda will be a mentor to Solon Middle School. R&B and jazz artist Ladisi will help Cannonball Elementary. Actor and hip-hop artist DJ IZ will mentor Standing Rock Middle School, and musician and singer Dave Matthews will help Standing Rock Elementary. What isn't clear is whether they will simply be benefactors or whether they will visit the schools as well.
Well, Century played Red River for the state tennis title last year.
This time they met with a trip to the championship match on the line.
Well, we've been talking for a long time about the possibility of this big shakeup in high school sports.
Well, let's, shall we shake it and see what happened? Yeah, Century won the state girls tennis title back in 2001. And since then, Red River has been the big favorite, and the Rough Riders have won 14 straight. This year, that's not the case, though. About half the field thinks that it can win the team championship. Cheyenne beat Red River in the region, which sets up the Patriots and Riders in the semifinals. They were in the title match last year. And Century won the 2 and the 3 singles. This is number 1 singles as Shaylin Johnson will work the point against Alyssa Wolf. This one would go 3 sets, and it would go Red River's way, 6-1, 3-6, and 6-4. So it comes down to both of the doubles matches. In 2 doubles, it is Red River against Century's Britta Knutson and Anna Clark. And Red River wins this one in 3 sets as well, 3-6, 6-3, and 6-3. So it comes down to the one doubles, where Annie Dixon and Clara Maustad would have to win. And this one went 3 sets. They got that point, but they didn't win at all. The final here, Red River takes it 3-2 in the semifinals, and then Cheyenne over Williston 3-2. So last week's East Region championship will be playing for the state championship right now. Consolation, Fargo-Shanley 3-2 over Minot, and Valley City 3-2 over Mandan. Now, rain and lightning yesterday pushed the Region 8 baseball championship to this afternoon. Beulah is unbeaten, so Shiloh Christian would have to win twice today to make it to state. The Miners, well, they're hoping to avoid a second title game. First inning of this one, Alec Bateste hits it right over the base, and it rolls all the way into the bullpen. John W. Suter would score the first run of the game. It would be a double for Bateste. He was out trying to stretch it to third. Still 1-0 now in the third inning. Josh Remick helps himself with a single to center. Mikey Morris would score run number 2 for the Miners. And now the reason that Remick is helping himself in the baseball terms is because he's pitching for Beulah. Here he gets Dawson Fagerlund to start the fourth. This one went extra innings, but it went Beulah's way. The final was 5-4 in 8 innings. No second game needed. The Miners are heading to state. The Class A qualifying process for baseball started today in Jamestown. St. Mary's edged Legacy 3-2 in the play-in game, so the Saints will face top-seeded Century. That's later on tonight. In the quarterfinals, it's Bismarck against the host team, the Blue Jays. Through the first 3 innings, combined 2 hits. Bottom of the fourth, though, runner on third, Mason Vody would come on in. It was 1-0, Demons out in front. In the fifth, the Demons starting to really break it open as Andrew Feist drops it into left center field. That would score Mason Hustis. It's 2-0 Demons. And then BHS leading by 4 runs when Logan Morse belts one into center field. That would score Seth Severson. The Demons are up by 5 runs, and they would win it by 7 runs. Fody threw a 1-hitter in the shutout. BHS takes it 7-1. Dickinson is the 3 seed. The Midgets against number 6 Mandan. It's a 1-1 game in the third when Mandan's Garrett Murphy sends the sacrifice fly out to right center field, bringing in Richard Zander, and Mandan is up 2-1. Bottom half of the inning, though, Lucas Jones lays down the bunt, trying to advance the runners, but the overthrow that allows 2 runs to score for the Midgets. So it's 3-2 Dickinson at this point. And that's where the lead would sit until the bottom of the 6th inning. Bases loaded for Michael McChesney. This is the key hit of the game. It's a 3-run double to left field. That made it 6-2 Dickinson at this point. And Dickinson would go on to win this game by that final score of 6-2. In the other game going on right now, in fact, there's 2 games to play yet. Williston is the lower seeded team, but out in the 3rd inning, leading Minot 2-0. Century again will play St. Mary's. That's because the Saints beat Legacy in the first game of the day. Century's the number 1 seed, and the Patriots will play later tonight in the first round. Mandan 15-6 over Belcourt. That's in softball. That's a play-in game for the West Region softball tournament, so the Braves will stick around and play tomorrow as well. Speaking of Mandan, Mandan's in the market for a girls soccer coach. Jennifer Kessler has resigned after spending 6 years in the Braves program.
All right, thanks, Lightly, and we'll be right back after this. New on the Night Report, Hillary Clinton responds to the latest report on her unsecured emails as Secretary of State and why it shouldn't be a campaign issue.
Getting ready to have some heavy rain, non-severe thunderstorms, but looks like this is in no hurry to move out, so once it starts raining heavily, it might last for a while. Over an inch, not out of the question here for the Magic City. Expanding the view, that's about it as far as the heavier band of storms here. Inching its way toward Highway 2 through Minot. Otherwise, for southern North Dakota, just some lighter showers for the time being. Tomorrow, might do this all over again, and unsettled weather with off and on showers and storms, mainly in the afternoon and evening, next several days.
All right, looks great. Thanks so much for being here. We've got a lot more for you at 10 o'clock, so be sure to join us then.